How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to SeaBed. Alright, we gotta clear the air first. We gotta have a little chit chat here, because just FYI, I don't know, I don't really defend myself, but I want to explain better my position. Because I thought it was pretty clear, but apparently, well, it's not that it wasn't clear, but you'll see. There were a couple comments along this route, but I think Little Magi like said it best, and I want to talk about it real quick. So, and FYI, I'm just trying to explain my thought processes here. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. So you said, ho, I was waiting for this scene. Well, I think you're a bit overreacting. Perhaps it's the moment of the scene that led you to jump to the wrong conclusions. Like you felt like it was close to it, thing like that. It wasn't that bad, and no drugging happened. I think your emotional first reaction colored your conclusion at the end. I don't think she's psychotic at all, so I'm curious to see how you view future developments. Okay, so here's the thing. Psychopathic? No. I have to amend that. I don't think she's a psychopath, because psychopaths don't care or have empathy. I think Nanae has empathy. I think that she is a very emotional person. Matter of fact, I think that's part of the problem that we're seeing there. We have to kind of examine, where is Nanae in her life right now? Well, she's a young woman, but she's not young anymore. She lives out in the mountains. She has very little interaction with people her own age, let alone women her own age who might actually show interest in her. We're talking about a traditional society. It's probably very difficult for her to find people who are, especially in such a rural area, interested in that kind of relationship. Probably is really wanting to have an emotional connection with someone, and it's like not desperate for it, but desperate for it. Like, you know what I mean? She's a very sweet person, and I mean, I liked her at first, and so either she's a sociopath, which I don't think is true, because I really do feel like she has genuine emotions, that she's not faking it. But she does have antisocial tendencies. Not that she's antisocial, but she has a few things that make her a little bit unique. And the problem is with her and Sachiko. Now, why did I feel like it was such a horrible thing? Well, here's some flags, because it really felt rapey. Now, it wasn't a rape, but it felt rapey, as in it could have gone that way easily had she not held herself back, which thankfully she did. But when people are saying things like, are you an idiot for not noticing? She pretty much said, I just don't know if you're stupid or if you just don't care. But she kind of implied that she thought Sachiko was just being really thick and purposefully ignoring her advances and feelings. It's a very aggressive stance to end up taking, especially when she normally has been so reserved. It's showing a bit more of her true self, which is a lot more aggressive than I originally thought. And so that shock did probably get me out of the moment a bit. But here's the other thing. I was contemplating drugging and stuff. Yeah, that didn't happen. But I don't know, that does happen in real life. That's a real risk. Sometimes we can feel like it's just something that happens in movies. But we have people who get in trouble for that. We have people who go through horrible experiences because of that. Date rape drugs are real, and they're a problem. And so the concept isn't so far gone. Thankfully, Nanae did not resort to drugs. But you can understand that happens. I've known people who have gone through experiences with that, and with people who have been through those traumatic experiences. I understand it's a real problem, so that's why I brought it up. And then the really thing that got me, though, is Nanae's her aggressive affection, and it was stepped very quickly from suggesting that Sachiko could stay up there with her to really putting the pressure on her, climbing on top of her, saying that she and then when asked if she's drunk, saying the phrase, "I'm drunk enough for this to happen." Those are preludes to what could have been rape. Not that it was. I'm grateful she didn't. I'm hoping that she's not a terrible person and that she will actually be okay. She's obviously got some issues, though. I mean, the other part of it that I think is so terrifying, the truly terrifying part for me, honestly, is the fact that she was saying, I can be Sachiko. And I can be Takako for Sachiko. I can be your Takako again. And she, did her hair in the ponytails, emphasizing that similarity. But the creepy thing was that the mentality that she's I like you so much, I'll be who you need me to be in order for you to like me. And that's such an unhealthy approach to a relationship. And it's so dangerous emotionally dangerous. Not physically. Like, is Sachiko in physical danger? Probably not. She was able to control herself when she had Sachiko down to rights, effectively, and she didn't force herself on her. So no, it's not as bad as it could have been. But doesn't mean I can't... It doesn't mean that I was having a much of an overreaction, in my opinion, because the notes were all there. All it would have taken is a little nudge to go way overboard. And getting that close so willingly, what's to say she wouldn't be willing to go further next time, especially if she feels like Sachiko really will leave. If she's willing to go that far, under the pretense that she might leave and not actually come back and not stay up there, if she becomes certain that Sachiko is going to leave, could she be pushed further? And that's what scares me. So, no. Was it an overreaction to the literal events that happened? Maybe. But I'm imagining the future events that could happen, and that terrifies me. Also, let's bring it back to the other reasons why this is so terrible. Because in a normal state, facing somebody who's that aggressively attracted to you is scary. And sometimes the people who get so aggressively attractive are the people who decide to like take matters into their own hands. Like that's just it's just a truth. I stuttered there for a bit. But remember where Sachiko is right now. Her mind is very fragmented. She had literally been living under hallucinatory experiences, convincing her that Takako is still alive. And now she's trying to find resolution to her hallucinations. Her mind is in a fragile and receptive, and honestly, she's in a very big state for suggestiveness. And if you take that and combine that with someone who claims and is saying that they can pretend to be Takako, and you throw on hallucinations, that could lock Sachiko into her, effectively her nightmare, of not even knowing that she's in a nightmare, but having this itching feeling that there's still something off. I think Sachiko is not in a place to accept another relationship right now. Even in the healthiest of circumstances, I was imagining and hoping for a budding relationship between Sachiko and Nanae, maybe a first kiss, and then Sachiko going home, they could write letters to each other, they could have little trips to meet each other, and then slowly, as the need that Sachiko has emotionally for Takako fades as she accepts her death and moves forward, then Nanae could then become a Nanae presence in her life. That she doesn't have to pretend or act like or look like Takako to fill that void. Because anytime you stuff a void with somebody else just to fill the gaps, you're not treating the wound, you're just letting it fester. And that means that it's going to rot. So, regardless of whether or not you still think I'm too reactive to the situation that happened, I do want to impress the importance of Sachiko and where she is emotionally right now. Like, this isn't the kind of thing that you can just slap a band-aid on and get over. Especially with how emotionally adaptive Nanae is offering to being. That's really not a way for both of them to progress. And I honestly don't know if Nanae would be actually willing to do that for the long term. She may feel so desperately inclined now to make sure that she can lock in this potential relationship with Sachiko, but I don't know if she would find that enough in a year, 2 years. Would knowing that Sachiko really still loved Takako and was like using her as a replacement for Takako, would that actually bring her happiness? No. I think Nanae would need to seek her own identity eventually, and I think they need to be able to do that as they explore their relationship, not as they try to solidify it. Does that make sense? It's one of the reasons why runaway weddings and insanely quick relationships that go from 0 to 8 like within a week, they're dangerous. They're dangerous because emotionally we aren't really understanding things properly, because the heat of the moment and the heat of passion and the heat of infatuation, it's like a firework. It's brilliant and it glows brightly and it can have a massive crescendo, but it often fizzles out very quickly. And you need to have a kindling of a true fire start for a real relationship to last. That's why people sometimes demand on having a year-long engagement. They need to make sure the fire's there. They need to make sure that it's real. And I can't be one to talk. I had a kind of a fast engagement, essentially. I think it was like a 9 months thing, but like, it's still like, it's just something you need to be careful of emotionally. Some people are ready for a shotgun wedding, some people aren't. And if there's anyone who's not, it's Sachiko. So I don't know. Thankfully, we haven't really seen this idea of them getting married, but she's definitely like the reason why it's a big deal, because Nane is like literally saying like, quit your job, move out here, live with me. It's a huge jump to take for someone who's mentally still trying to figure out how they feel about everything. Alright, that was a long rant, so I'm sorry. I just feel like the topics are really heavy. They were heavy last time, and I want to make sure that I get them by now. Thank you, Little Magi, for saying what you said. And like I don't want you or anyone else to think that for some reason I'm saying that you're wrong, or that I necessarily disagree with what you're saying. I think you have some very good points. I'm just trying to defend my position, because we need to have this dialogue. Because these are topics, and the reason why this is so good to bring up is honestly, these are topics that people don't talk about. It's taboo to talk about rape and sexual assault. It's taboo to talk about abuse, emotional abuse, lying to yourself, pretending to be other people, filling gaps. These are subjects that we just don't talk about openly because they're private and they're very like secure. But I've been through enough of life, and I've gone through the bad relationships to see a lot of red flags. And I've also watched people go through relationships that are patterned after what I'm seeing here. And I've not seen a whole lot of good come from them in the long run. And so I'm going to say my say. So yeah, whether you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear your comments down below. I don't want us to focus on this too much though, so let's just move on and let's see how Sachiko tries to resolve this situation. Let's see if Dr. Narasaki can help. And by the way, if you watch my Steins Gate Let's Play, we had probably our second to last episode on Wednesday, and there's a scientist in there, there's Dr. Narabachi, but I keep calling him Dr. Narabaki because I think it's because I keep saying Narasaki, and Dr. Narabaki is so similar. I think I've just been like having a disassociation between the two, which is really funny. Because everyone's just like, it's Bachi, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. Besides that altercation, Sachiko and Nane went up to the hot springs. It was a really fun time where they got to kind of bond and got to explore. I genuinely, before things got kicked off, I honestly thought, and still kind of think, that this environment would be a great one for Sachiko. If she were willing to move up here, I think it would be really good for her, until I saw what Nane is willing to do. That makes me hesitant for her to move up here yet. I still think they actually have a chance. If Nane can move forward and understand that what she's doing isn't very healthy for an actual relationship, but that she can start slow, and that just because they can have a long-term relationship where they can get to know one another. I mean, she already travels. If she has the funds to be able to travel as much as she does, I think going and seeing Sachiko isn't going to be that hard. And Sachiko can do the same thing. She has a place to actually go on vacation, which she doesn't do normally, so she has like a place to go. And I think Sachiko honestly would benefit by being out in the countryside. I feel like the last thing she really needs is the high-pressure city life. So like, it would be beneficial for her to live out here, but they need to make sure that they establish a genuine relationship between the two of them, and not between Sachiko and a pseudo Takako. So anyway, let's see what Dr. Narasaki says. I was walking on the snow along the Camellia fence when I saw Sachiko approaching from the opposite direction. Hey, fancy seeing you here. Narasaki, what are you doing here? Just out for a walk. What about you? You look pale. I drank too much. Drinking while the sun's still up will make you grow old faster, apparently. Doing it once in a blue moon won't kill me, will it? Are you okay? Yes, I was on my way to my room to rest. Good. Don't forget to drink plenty of water before going to bed. That'll help with the hangover. Thanks. Excuse me. I've got a chest cold that started up yesterday. And it's unfortunate because it's gonna make the audio even worse, but whatever. Sachiko passed by me. I turned around to see her back receding toward the mansion as she treaded the snow-covered path. I turned back and continued in the direction Sachiko came from. Following the path created by her footsteps made it easy to walk across the snow. Ah, hello. As I turned my attention toward the annex of the east wing, I saw its door suddenly open, revealing Nanae. I raised my hand to greet her. Sure is cold today. Nanae wore a long-sleeved trainer and some light-colored jeans. It was clear in the morning, so I didn't expect all this snow to suddenly pile up. Sorry, I mixed up their lines again, because there's no names. But anyway. Well, I did tell you how fickle the weather is here in the mountains. Looking at Nanae's face nearly made me gasp. Her hair was fastened into long twin tails. I watched them sway in the cold breeze. How are you feeling? What do you mean? Nanae looked at me with a frown. Sorry, I just remembered something. Gotta run! Yeah, he's gonna go talk to... Sachiko, are you in? I knocked on her door and strained my ears, but couldn't hear a sound. I'm opening the door. The stale air of the room escaped through the door as I opened it. I couldn't see Sachiko in her bed. Stepping into the room, I took a quick look around. Her bag was on the other side of the bed. Her pouch was on the dressing table. I walked closer to the window. There was a chessboard on the table. The pieces were in the same arrangement as we left them. An old doll sat in the chair by the window. I looked all over the mansion, and as I finally stepped aside, I ran into Kozua. Hey, another day of research? Yes. Kozua gave me a sideways glance. What about you? I was looking for something. I see. Kozua jumped from one stone to another on the stone path. Looking only at her profile, I couldn't properly read her expression. I could tell Sachiko wasn't inside as soon as I reached the library. After wandering the library for a while, I exchanged a few words with Kozua, then left. Meanwhile, I was thinking about Sachiko. I tried imagining whether I would go if I were her, but I couldn't come up with anything. Where would Sachiko go? She might have vanished into the other world, but, because, yeah, the bedroom is where I think she would go. I wandered through the forest in the evening glow. Hearing a rustle, I turned around to see a dove looking for food among the withering leaves. The sounds of noon birds had waned, and the day slowly turned into night. Sachiko! If you can hear me, please answer! I strained my ears, but heard nothing. Well, I guess that's that. I saw something sparkle in the woods beyond the dove. Continuing in that direction, I found a clear lake with the evening mountain reflected on its surface. And its light waves glimmered gently. I don't like this. I drew closer to the water, spotting a bunch of white clovers. Clovers? I looked over them for a while, but couldn't find any four-leafed ones. So she looks for clovers too. Interesting. Suddenly, I heard a splash of water. The size of the ripples on the surface weren't enough to determine whether the sound was caused by a water bird or a fish. By the time I looked up, I realized the sky had taken on a deep blue hue, giving home to countless stars. I tried looking for the Big Dipper, Cassiopeia, but found the Southern Cross instead. What? Wait, what? That shouldn't be there! I rubbed my eyes and looked at the night sky again. I gave up on that and looked at the lake instead. Hang on. We're supposed to be in Japan, right? Southern Cross is in the Southern Hemisphere, hence the name. Japan is not in the Southern Hemisphere. So they should not be in the sky. I'm not going crazy, right? I mean, I took astronomy classes. I should know, like everything in me tells me that that's not physically possible. I let out a gasp. What? The heck? Huh? The lake had disappeared, and with a shoal taking its place. Okay! Right! Well! Ooh! Oh boy. The mirror-like surface of the lake was no more. Instead, I saw countless puddles in the sand extending beyond the horizon. All of them reflected the night sky. I looked at one of the puddles. My eyes met Sachiko's as she looked down on me from an inverted position. In the water. Okay. What? So we're just gonna just move on from that? I'm freaking Narasaki Clinic furnace has been unlocked. Night duty room has been unlocked. Looks like that's what the rest of this episode is going to be about. Looking at tips, because apparently Dr. Narasaki can enter this dimensional space that Sachiko's been going into, but she's inverted in the puddle. So Dr. Narasaki's sitting here. She sees puddle on the beach, and in the puddle reflection, she sees Sachiko. That's bad. That's bad on several levels. Oh boy. Okay, well. Okay, and then as the next, we're going to do chapter 5 next time. So, Cat in an Aquarium. I'm guessing we're switching to Takako again? Yeah, there's Takako's side. Fetch, man. Oh boy. Yeah, things are getting weird. Last time you guys pointed out, you're like, oh, things are going to get crazy. And it's like, it freaking is. Oh, man. Oh, what's Sachiko going to do? Is she even there anymore? Does she have an ability to run away? And that's the thing, are her hallucinations just a parallel world? That would be really interesting. But if it were, why can't she stay there? It's interesting. I don't know. Still blows my freaking mind. Alright, so Dr. Narasaki Clinic, because there's the second trip, which we had before, but now we're in Clinic. We've done the rooms, consultation room, bedroom, bathroom, kitchen. Now we do furnace and night duty room. Alright, let's jump in and see how long these go and what we think of them. Let's see the furnace. Oh, it's literally a furnace. Kind of a small one. After the bath, Sachiko came to the furnace room. Okay, so this is continuing the story last time where Sachiko, we found Sachiko, in her room, freezing and, cold and, wet. And then she took a warm shower, and now we're here. This is also where she, we found the journal, and we took, I think it was a journal that already had pages taken out, or was a journal that we took pages out of. One of the two. I think it might have been Dr. Narasaki taking the pages out. Without even trying to fight the loud noise inside, she mouthed that the bath was now open and free to use. A gesture that I understood. I normally use the shower in the clinic, but once a week I'd heat up the underground bath. After making sure that the furnace was working as intended, I headed to the bath. Okay, so it's like a shared bath, like it's a bathing chamber. Wow, that sounds kind of fancy. Upon entering, I washed myself off and stepped into the hot water. I lowered myself in the water, letting my hips, shoulder, and neck completely immersed, with only my chin remaining above the surface. Actually sounds really nice. I don't fit in tubs anymore. Heating up the bath was a bit of a pain, but the payoff was more than worth it. But in that initial tedium was exactly what made finishing it so satisfying. I remember how there used to be more patients and doctors in this clinic in the past. We'd have a bath heated every day back in those days. But eventually the number of our patients decreased, and so did the doctors. Soon enough, evening was upon us, and the only source of illumination was the human bathroom, become a thin ray of light from the ceiling. I remembered my experience in room 208 today. I tried looking for traces of the unfamiliar bedroom that appeared in front of me for a brief moment, but couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. Took a deep breath and slowly exhaled it. I wondered if it wasn't all just a dream of some sort. Yeah, I wish so. I felt like I heard something, prompting me to strain my ears. I could quite clearly hear the sound of drops falling to the wet floor, but somewhere in the distance. I felt like I could hear voices. It was just a feeling, though. I splashed my face with hot water. I was probably tired. I don't know. There's a point where you're seeing stuff where I would start not doubting. I'd be like, maybe I should investigate that. Now that I thought about it, the only time I ever slept over the past few days was that one time when I lost consciousness for an hour or so. That's not good either. That's really unhealthy. I don't get enough sleep, but that's really bad. After soaking for some time, I stood up, wiped the remaining water off my skin, then changed back to my clothes, dried my hair with the dryer resting next to the water basin. I turned everything off and left the keys to the furnace and the dressing room where they belonged, just about ready to head off towards the night duty room when a sudden onset of dizziness made me stagger on my feet. I needed to get myself some coffee and emergency sleep once I got back. Yeah, you need to sleep, sister. I'm guessing that's not the end, because if that is, that's one of the shortest tips we've had yet. That was freaking the shortest tip we've had ever. Well, if the other one's that short, we're going to probably jump back into Takiko's story a little bit, because otherwise it's going to be a short episode today. And the sad thing is it's going to be such a lecture-y one, too. I'm sorry. Alright, night duty room. Alright, what happens now? Oh, hang on. Hang on. The night duty room... This vaguely reminds me of the night duty room from Takiko's timeline. Like, you know what I mean? Gosh, what's her name? I always forget the nurse's name that Takiko's, like, getting along with. Oh, what's her name? I don't know. It was already 8 by the time I returned to the night duty room. I had a cup of hot coffee and laid down on the bed. Turned on my back and closed my eyes. We're gonna have another crazy, wild, wet dream. Well, actually, that was a wet last time. Sorry. That was unintentionally true. I expected to fall asleep right away, but didn't quite work out that way. The coffee might have dispelled my drowsiness a little. Why would you drink coffee right before you go to sleep? Sounds like a stupid thing to do. I stood up, flipped the notebook lying on the table open with one hand, and had another look at the diary. It was a short thing, so I ended up going through it in no time at all. However, I had this odd feeling about it. I read through the entries again. Something was missing. Not the pages I myself tore out, of course, and it wasn't some sort of misunderstanding on my part either. I couldn't recall the exact date, but a certain episode I remembered clear as day was missing from the text. That's weird. I lifted my coat off the wall hanger and took out a memo pad from its pocket. A fragment of that missing episode was jotted down. I had a bad feeling about this. I felt the entire clinic squirm as I touched the walls of the wall of the corridor. Is that a literal? Because I doubt it. I took the key and hurried over to room 208. So, okay, so she has a journal of the past. It's interesting because we talked about like Takiko's like potential ailment involves her having random bouts of amnesia where things that she thought she remembered just suddenly blank out of existence in her brain. Physical diary entries blanking out of existence, not even leaving like a blank page where like it would be like, oh, it was erased, but like literally never existing. That's bringing up another problem altogether. I feel like we're having a collapse. Like it's like we're witnessing a collapse of general relativity. As I finally reached Sachiko's room, I knocked on the door. I waited a while but received no answer. Tried again, but there's only silence. It's possible she's just fallen asleep after her bath. All I might have done here was wake her up. However, I was too worried to care about that now. Just open the door. I knock again, just in case, and upon receiving no answer, I lock and push open the door. An empty bed was the first thing I entered my vision. Oh boy. I entered the room and looked around, but she was nowhere in sight. Both the door and the window were locked. I called out her name, but was only met by silence. I even looked under the bed to make sure she wasn't just hiding somewhere. No other strange phenomena occurred, though. There's not a single trace left of Sachiko's presence. Her clothes were gone, her bed sheets didn't look slept on. This was room 208 before her arrival. What the fetch? I left the room and checked the bathroom, the inner yard, the dressing room, as well as any other place I could assume Sachiko might visit. Unable to find her even after all that, I began looking for clues about her departure. I said I couldn't imagine her leaving without letting me know. This place didn't have many exits. First I investigated the front doors of the lobby. I turned the doorknob, but the door didn't move an inch. It was locked. Next I checked the side exit with the west wing, but the results were the same. Oh boy. Finally I went to the library through the connected corridor. The door was once again locked, just in case, though I unlocked it and entered the building. I took out a penlight from my chest pocket and used it to guide my path. I descended the spiral staircase, reaching the big doors by the counter. This was the last exit that could lead outside. I tried turning the doorknob. The door let out a metallic creak, but otherwise remained motionless. The doorknob refused to budge. Well, fiddlesticks. That's not good. I left the library, but couldn't think of any other place to check. I looked all over the clinic, going so far as to check every single one of the black windows. My mind kept going in circles. I wonder if I hadn't made some sort of mistake. I kept retracing my memories and going all the way back to the first time Sachiko came here. They gave up and returned to the night duty room. The clock had just struck 4 a.m. Okay, this looks just like the night duty room that Takako talked about. It's the same picture. I don't know if that's intentional. I would guess it is, because they don't tend to just make it random. I tried in vain to count the hours I'd been awake for. Either way, I was at my limit. I collapsed on the tatami floor and used the closest futon as a pillow. It took mere moments for my consciousness to be swallowed by darkness. The night duty room was bright when I woke up. I immediately remembered what happened the previous night. I rose to my feet and noticed the notebook I read yesterday still resting on the table. It looked like proof that I wasn't dreaming. I stretched my back and rubbed my neck. I inhaled a deep breath and let it all out. In the end, I couldn't find Sachiko anywhere. Oh my gosh. I opened the notebook on the table. I flipped through a few pages. However, no matter where I looked, I could only find empty, white pages. It seemed like all records had simply vanished. I calmed myself down and considered what to do next. First of all, I had to find Sachiko. And to do that, I'd need to leave the clinic. Yeah, but you might need to leave reality. However, I had no key that would make such a feat possible. Wait, you can't leave the clinic? How are you guys alive? Who's feeding you? And who is this? Is this not Dr. Narasaki? Maybe it's not Dr. Narasaki. I thought it was. But why would she be trapped in a clinic and not able to leave? What the heck is happening? Oh, I don't know. Narasaki clinic. Why would there be no way out of a clinic? How could she just not have the keys to leave if it's her clinic? Also, it's obviously the clinic is sounding more and more like the mansion. So was that story of Dr. Narasaki, or is that a story of the nurses taking care of Takako? Because it all seems like it's all from the same building, and Dr. Narasaki's clinic was not up in the mountains, but apparently it is. It's attached to the library. Fetch, man. I don't even know. Or is this like some weird middle space? Like, there's Takako's reality, there's Sachiko's reality, and this is like some bubble in the middle? Maybe? The journal emptying itself, that tells me a whole nother thing. That tells me that this is all like... It's not enclosed. It's like... Reality is actually being altered. It's not just memories being taken from people. It's like this is a literal metaphysical process where Sachiko suddenly was never at the clinic. She never arrived. She never left her stuff. Her journal was empty. It's almost like she just got erased from history. Freaking Thanos snapped his fingers and boom, Sachiko was gone. Fetch. Oh. We can go a little longer. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go start this next chapter. It won't go very long, but we'll see where we get from there, because otherwise this would be way too short. As I sat down on the futon and gazed at the tree beyond the dark window, I felt something akin to a thin layer of mist covering my vision. Now we're Takako. I closed my eyes and opened them again. The Christmas tree returned to my field of view. As the light of the stars shining through the branches illuminated the room, it summoned voices in vague shapes, as though in a shadow play. That's kind of uncertain. It's the same room! After I spent more time gazing at the tree, Mayuko, that's the name. Mayuko returned to the room in the kitchen holding a transparent cup with water in it. I took it from her, had a quick spit of the cold liquid. I think it was supposed to be sip. Then stretched my back. Ugh, I'm tired. Thanks for all you've done. I took another sip from the cup. I handed it back to Mayuko and collapsed on the futon. That's not very ladylike, Takako. Said Mayuko as she sat down in the traditional Japanese way with her legs under her knees. How come you're not tired? You worked more than me. Oh, I won't tire out of that much. Wouldn't exactly be qualified for this job if I did. I guess it's harder than it looks. Thanks. You're welcome. Although, if you want to express your gratitude, you can wake up early tomorrow and help me with the rest of the cleaning. I'll do my best. Miyako placed the cap on the tray by the pillow. I'm turning off the lights. Okay. Miyako pulled on the string and the room fell into darkness. It's the same animation. Ah, wait! The lights turned on again. Oh, that was her saying. I stood up and walked to the door. Where are you going? I'm off to pick some flowers. In the middle of the night? Miyako made a puzzled face. Sure, sounds fun. I'll be right back, so feel free to go back to sleep. Sure, whatever. Okay. I could hear Miyako's voice through the gap of the closing door. The air in the corridor was cold, just like outside. I continued down the dim corridor until the corner. A silhouette of a tree rustled beyond the window. I washed my hands with freezing cold water, letting the chill seep into my bones. Afterwards, I turned off the tap and wiped the water off with a white towel next to the sink. I looked in the mirror, seeing my own eyes gazing back at me. Suddenly, I saw something move behind me. What the? Ooh, creepy red light. I turned around. There was nothing there, save for a dimly lit corridor stretching into the darkness. I narrowed my eyes, trying to make out something. Little by little, I managed to make out the wallpaper at the end of the corridor. The shadows cast on it by the trees beyond the window made it look almost like a face in the moonlight. Oh! The silhouette of a person suddenly passed by the surreal face on the wall, only to disappear further into the darkness. Sanae? I walked into the end of the corridor and peeked beyond the corner. The spiral staircase was not lit up, and instead led downward into complete darkness. I strained my ears, but heard only the chain clanging of that contraption from outside, a metallic trinket attached to the wooden pole. Weird. Welcome back. Miyako greeted me as I returned. I staggered to the futons and chose to slip into Miyako's instead of my own. Did something happen? I think I saw something in the mirror. Takako, I think we've already agreed on this. No ghost stories past 9 o'clock. Huh? We did? But I really did see something in the corridor. I'm sure it was just the shadow of the tree branch or something. I guess the wind rattled the night duty room window. The tree outside continued to rustle. The evil tree. The metallic thing clanged against the wooden flagpole in the distance. I felt like I could smell the sea through the gap in the window. It's not a very well-insulated building. Miyako stood up and clasped the string serving as a light switch. I'm turning off the lights. I nodded, and with a short snap, the room fell into darkness. Only the uneven moonlight illuminated the world around me. Good night. Night. I closed my eyes and drifted off to sleep right away for a change. I had 2 dreams that night. Oh boy, here we go. One was about a plush toy, the other about one of my old trips. The two had no relation whatsoever. I couldn't even remember which one I had first until they completely blurred together in my memories, rendering that question meaningless to begin with. Are we going to go into a trip? Yeah, let's go ahead and go. I was playing with the diary girl and the plush toys in the children's room. There were 4 plushies in total. An otter, a fat bird, a melon with arms and legs, and a doctor. I got the otter from the aquarium I liked. The mother otter held many little otters in her embrace. The cubs, in turn, each held seashells. You could take the otter's cubs off if you removed the magic tape on the mother's paw. As I got my own room for the first time in my life after we moved, it took me some time to get used to sleeping alone. As a result, this otter plush ended up keeping me company in bed at night. The bird came from my late grandmother. I think it was supposed to talk if you pushed a certain part of it, but it either ran out of batteries or broke by the time I got it, and I never let out a single peep in my presence. His voice was most likely pre-recorded. Perhaps it belonged to my grandmother, even. However, I was much older when I realized that. By that time, the toy had moved to collect dust on the tall shelf and eventually disappeared altogether. I couldn't even remember where I got the melon plushie. Its troubled face was really cute now I thought about it. Back then, though, I was too young to read much into its expression and simply played with it by throwing it around. Being small enough to fit in my palm made a perfect ball for throwing around the room. I watched his arms flail in the air as he did all sorts of acrobatic tricks before crashing into the wall or ceiling. One day, however, I lost it. I only rediscovered it when I was already in high school. I was looking for something in the old closet when I found it all covered in dust. Despite the passage of time, his facial expression remained the same. Well, it's an inanimate object, so yeah. Diary Girl brought the doctor toy. Apparently it was the mascot of some hospital. They originally belonged to the kindergarten she attended, but she liked it so much that the nurse ended up giving it to her as a present. Okay, so interesting. So, Diary Girl, which we're assuming is Sachiko, she obviously spent a lot of time around doctors and nurses, to the point where she says that her kindergarten was, but there's a nurse working in her kindergarten. So, interesting. We would sometimes take out toys to play with together when we're still in our early years of elementary school. This time, we tried to make a play with our plushies of the characters, but we failed to construct any sort of continuous story in the end. Yes. And now we go for the trip. Okay. That looks like New York. But I think we're going to end it there for today. Because I like doing these trips all at once. Because they tend to... I think if we cut it in half, it tends to be very off. So what a weird episode today's is going to be. I'm so sorry about that. But hey, we had a lot to talk about. So I guess that's worth something. We also freaking... reality's just exploding around us, man. This is just getting ridiculous. Why couldn't... I assume Dr. Narasaki, who was the one we were following in the Narasaki Clinic episodes, why can't she leave? That bugs me a lot. Is she another patient, maybe? Is she not actually a doctor? But if she's not a doctor, then why does she have the folders? She hadn't slept in days. She had no means to leave to look for Sachiko when she vanished. I just don't get it. There's too much that just doesn't make any sense or doesn't add up. I don't know. Anyway, so if you have any thoughts about the craziness, it's not spoilerific, I'd love to hear it. I also think it's interesting that Narasaki also, when she went to the lakeside when she's looking for Sachiko, she saw a patch of clovers and she immediately looked for a four-leaf clover. So once again, it's drawing that connection to the four-leaf clover that seems to be kind of like the symbol of the friendship. And apparently Dr. Narasaki is a part of that somehow. Even though we never see stories of her hanging out with Takako Sachiko, except in very referential states, like when they're really little. We never see them on any trips together, and we haven't seen them associating with the four-leaf clover in any way. So I just don't know. It's just crazy. But hey, that's what this is all about, right? Crazy people. Who's crazy? That's the characters or me? We'll never know. Anyway, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope I didn't lecture too much. I hope you appreciated that I had to share with you, because you know what? We're all friends. We're part of this community together. The whole the whole purpose of us sharing this visual novel is so we can talk about it. So you've shared your thoughts, I've shared my thoughts, and that's what makes this so healthy and so good. So I hope that you don't take any offense to what I was saying, just because I might disagree. I don't feel like I have to say that, but might as well, just to let you know. I definitely don't mean to. I'm not trying to cast shade on anybody. It's literally sometimes we might just disagree, and that's okay. That's the whole point of talking about it. That's why we do this. This channel wouldn't make much sense if we didn't talk about it and have differences of opinion. But anyway, thank you guys so much for it, and I look forward to seeing your comments in the future. So until the next video you're watching with me, or whatever you see me in next, I'll see you there.